The Mystery of the Sodder Children, a Christmas Eve tragedy. It's Christmas Eve, 1945, in the quiet town of Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Sodder family home is filled with the warmth of the holidays, laughter, the glow of Christmas lights, and the scent of fresh pine. George and Jenny Sodder and 9 of their 10 children are settling in for the night. But as the clock strikes midnight, the joy of Christmas turns into a nightmare that would haunt the family and the nation for decades to come. A sudden fire engulfs the Sodder home. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children manage to escape into the cold winter night, but 5 of the children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, are never seen again. The fire consumes the house quickly, and by morning, all that remains is smoldering rubble. But amidst the ashes, a chilling silence hung in the air. No screams, no remains, only questions. The Sodders would soon find that the mystery of that night was only beginning, and the answers lay not in the embers, but in the shadows that had crept into their lives long before the flames. Authorities declare the 5 children dead, claiming they were lost in the blaze. But as the ashes cool and the investigation begins, the mystery only deepens. Where were the remains? How could an inferno powerful enough to reduce a house to ash leave no trace of 5 human bodies? And what about the strange occurrences before and after the fire? Warnings, threats, and eerie sightings. Tonight, we dive deep into the perplexing case of the Sodder children. Were they victims of a tragic fire, or did something far more sinister happen on that fateful Christmas Eve? Scene 2. The Sodder family, an ordinary life with extraordinary shadows. On Christmas Eve, 1945, the Sodder family's home catches fire, leading to the mysterious disappearance of 5 children amidst the ashes, sparking a decades-long search for the truth behind their fate amid threats, conspiracy theories, and community whispers. To understand the mystery, we must first understand the Sodder family. George Sodder, born Giorgio Soddu in Italy, immigrated to the United States as a young man. He built a successful trucking business in Fayetteville, where he was well known and respected. His wife Jenny was a homemaker who devoted her life to raising their 10 children. But despite their seemingly idyllic life, the Sodders were not without enemies. George was outspoken about his opposition to Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, often engaging in heated debates with fellow Italian immigrants. This did not sit well in a community with a strong Italian presence. Rumors of Mafia connections, political vendettas, and even kidnappings swirled around the Sodders. One unsettling incident involved a life insurance salesman who, after George refused his offer, ominously warned, "Your house will go up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed." This was not the only warning. Anonymous letters and phone calls hinted at danger, and George's outspoken political views had earned him enemies in both business and community circles. In the weeks leading up to the fire, unsettling events unfolded. A strange man visited the home, asking about George's work and making ominous statements about the house burning down. The family noticed a car parked along the highway, its occupants watching the children as they walked home from school. And a mysterious phone call on Christmas Eve, just before the fire, featured a woman laughing and asking for someone the family didn't know. Were these simply odd coincidences, or were they dark omens of what was to come? Scene 3. The fire, a tragedy or a cover-up. The fire broke out around 1 a.m. on Christmas morning. Jenny Sodder awoke to the smell of smoke and discovered flames in George's office, where the fuse box and telephone line were located. She rushed to wake her husband and children. 4 of the children, Sylvia, Marion, John, and George Jr., managed to escape, along with George and Jenny. But 5 children remained trapped upstairs. George tried everything to save them. He broke a window to re-enter the house, slicing his arm open. He attempted to reach the upper floor with a ladder that mysteriously wasn't where it usually was. He tried to use his trucks to climb into the second-floor window, but neither vehicle would start, despite having worked perfectly the day before. As he desperately searched for his children, he noticed something strange, the smell of burning chemicals, not just wood and fabric. Some later theorized that this could indicate the use of an accelerant, suggesting arson. Was the fire meant to cover up something far more sinister? Jenny ran to a neighbor's home to call the fire department, but the operator never picked up. Another neighbor called, but the fire department, understaffed due to the holiday, didn't arrive until hours later, far too late to save the house. When the fire was finally out, authorities sifted through the ashes. Shockingly, they found no human remains. The fire chief suggested the flames had burned so hot that the bodies were completely cremated, a claim that would later be debunked by experts. House fires, even intense ones, leave behind bones and teeth. Yet, in the Sodder home, nothing remained. Scene 4. The investigation, incompetence or intentional sabotage. The investigation into the fire was, at best, deeply flawed. The official cause was listed as faulty wiring, yet witnesses claimed they had seen the house lights still on during the fire, something that shouldn't have been possible if the wiring was to blame. The site was bulldozed within days, covering any potential evidence. This hasty action raised suspicions. Was it simply an effort to clear the site, or a deliberate attempt to erase evidence? Even more troubling, the local police and fire chief discouraged further investigation, claiming the cause was obvious. But to the Sodders, it felt like the truth was being buried along with the ashes. The coroner's office issued death certificates for the 5 missing children despite the lack of physical remains. But the Sodders refused to believe their children were dead. Jenny conducted her own experiments, burning animal bones to see if they would turn to ash. They never did. She consulted with experts, including a crematorium, who confirmed that bones remain even after intense heat. More questions arose. A bus driver reported seeing fireballs being thrown onto the roof of the house, suggesting the fire might have been started intentionally. A witness claimed to have seen the missing children in a car as the fire raged. Another claimed to have served the children breakfast the following morning at a rest stop. The Sodders began to believe their children had been kidnapped. Scene 5. Theories. What really happened to the Sodder children? Theory 1. Kidnapping by the Italian Mafia. One popular theory is that the children were kidnapped by the Italian Mafia in retaliation for George's outspoken anti-Mussolini views. The idea is that the Mafia may have threatened him, and when he did not comply, took his children as punishment. Theory 2. Human trafficking. Some speculate the children were taken and sold into adoption or human trafficking. The sightings of children resembling the Sodders in different states over the years lend some credence to this theory. Theory 3. Insurance scam gone wrong. Another theory suggests the fire might have been part of an insurance scam or revenge against George for refusing to buy insurance from a local salesman who had threatened him. However, this theory does not explain the missing children. Theory 4. Witness protection or government involvement. Another theory, though less discussed, suggests that the Sodder children were taken by federal agents. Some speculate that George Sodder, with his anti-Mussolini stance, may have been involved in intelligence work during World War II, leading to his children being taken into protective custody, or worse, becoming pawns in a dangerous political game. Theory 5. The children died in the fire. The official explanation remains that the children perished in the fire and their remains were either completely destroyed or overlooked in the chaos. But the lack of remains, combined with witness statements, makes this hard to believe. Scene 6. The legacy, a family that never stopped searching. The Sodders never gave up. They put up a billboard near their home with the children's photos, offering a reward for information. They followed leads, including a mysterious photograph sent to them in the 1960s of a young man who resembled their son, Louis. The back of the photo was inscribed with the cryptic message, "Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, Illil boys, and 90,132 or 35. Experts analyzed the photograph, and while some saw an uncanny resemblance, others dismissed it as a cruel joke. The cryptic message on the back of the photo only added to the mystery. Was this a code? A breadcrumb left by the children themselves? The Sodders hired private investigators to track down the lead, but the trail always seemed to go cold, as if something, was determined to keep the truth hidden. The Sodder children grew up with the mystery as a constant shadow over their lives. Sylvia, the youngest, who was only 2 at the time of the fire, continued the search well into adulthood. She maintained that strange phone calls and letters never truly stopped, as if someone somewhere wanted them to keep looking, but never find. The community, too, was divided. Some believed the Sodders' relentless search was a refusal to accept a painful truth, while others whispered of secrets that should never be uncovered. Until their deaths, George and Jenny believed their children might still be alive. Their surviving children continued the search, but with George and Jenny gone, the mystery has become part of American folklore, a chilling tale of loss, hope, and unanswered questions. Scene 7. Conclusion. Will we ever know the truth? More than 75 years later, the fate of the Sodder children remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Did they perish in the flames, or were they taken, their lives continuing in secret somewhere far from West Virginia? Perhaps the answer lies not in uncovering new evidence, but in finding the courage of those who know the truth to finally speak it. Here on Legends Unveiled, we explore the darkest mysteries, hidden histories, and unanswered questions that still haunt us today.